Hello, am I audible?
Hi, Jay. Yes, I can hear you. Good.
Okay. So, uh, let me introduce you. Miss Shreya Patter is one of the very intelligent freelancer, and also she recently has become an author. So, very, very congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And uh, also, you have a very, very vast experience in freelancing industry as well. So we have Ms. Shreya Patter for spreading her wisdom and knowledge in freelancing.
Thank-
So thank you very much for coming to this show.
Thanks for having me, Jay. Thank you.
So first of all, explain us what exactly is freelancing.
Freelancing is actually very simply just when you're not related to any company. So you're just free to do what you want and you're free to work wherever you want. So that's basically a freelancer, somebody who works independently.
Wow. And how it is different from the mainstream entrepreneurship which we see as corporates and other businesses.
I would say freelancing is something people do individually, and entrepreneurship would be something that is scalable, something that has a larger impact, something that is scalable, and something that is like a business. It's something that's meant for, it's either a team or it's something that, if you make money from that, it's revenue. It's not just personal income, it's revenue, and it's something that you're going to use for further growth of the company. So that's entrepreneurship, I would say. If you just grow your freelancing business, you would be an entrepreneur, basically. Yeah.
Wow, great. Uh, so, if one wants to start his freelancing journey, what all boxes they need to get ticked before they start their freelancing journey?
First is definitely patience, because freelancing requires a lot of patience when you are just starting out, and you are somebody who probably does not have enough experience or any experience at all, and you are new to this whole field where you have to be the one person who's doing everything, right from uh, creating the content or whatever work you're doing, right from doing that particular freelancing work and finding clients, finding people, and communicating with them, closing the deal, all the emails back and forth. It's very stressful. It's a very long, 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 long process. And it takes a lot of time and energy. So it can get draining. It can get very, it can feel very unfulfilling at many points. So if you have that patience to kind of get you through it, then I think you're good enough.
Wow, great. And also, I have seen that more and more freelancers are coming. More and more people are going and starting their freelancing journey in India because, and also it is going to grow because this lockdown situation has made us realize that if you have something inside you, something which is valuable, something from which you can earn revenue, you can start it even if you don't have any team. So
Right.
I think, what according to you, what is the future of freelancing in India, especially after this pandemic situation?
I think it's, when the pandemic had started, I think work from India was pretty fair enough for me. Things were still going on smoothly. But the thing is, when it kept getting extended, because I'm in Dublin right now, and here things are opening up. The lockdown is eased. Things are, getting almost normal. But that's not the case with India. It's still a struggle in India. Um, so startups there are now starting to kind of realize the impact, and now they're kind of holding back on that cost, on the marketing cost, and even on freelancing. So in the initial few months of the lockdown, yes, freelancing was definitely something that everyone was considering because it was an easy, convenient way, and freelancers already know how to work remotely, so it was working out fine. So now, for a few months, I think it'll be a bit dicey since the companies themselves are struggling. But again, once they're back on track, I think again they would like to still keep things remote. They would still like to, find somebody who can get the job done quickly, who can commit to their company instantly, and kind of just give them the best work in the least possible time, even if it's they may negotiate, of course, considering owing to the pandemic, but I think it'll increase after it's all, starting to get back to normal once again. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what would be your advice to freelancers who are suffering through same issues of not getting enough work, or they have to fight for the pricing issue. So what would be your advice for them?
See, like every freelancing or anything in general does have its own issues, and it's very difficult for me to, like, broadly say a few things because every situation is different. And every time I get a message from someone, they always ask me, like, how do I deal with this? Should I do the work for negotiated price? But it's very difficult for me to say without knowing the whole story. Maybe you are really
Correct.
with that person, then you have to kind of go in for it. So what I would recommend, like, for new, especially for new content creators, new freelancers, is to try and give it a shot. Because what happens is you kind of give it a shot and you realize that, okay, I don't want to do this, and so you don't do it again next time. You learn from it, or you realize that, what, at least I got paid and at least I got the work done. I was busy doing something. I'm fine with doing it for less a few times. So you learn from that experience and you take it up next time. And with time, like even in a few months, you kind of just get that intuition. You build that intuition, like, okay, as soon as someone approaches you, you will know, okay, this is one person I definitely want to work with. This person I don't want to work with, so I'm just not going to negotiate. So I would say experiment and, see what works best for you. And then trust your intuition with time, because I don't think it'll ever fail you when it comes to this.
Wow, beautiful. And also, I just got those thoughts that people who are losing their job, especially from the IT corporates of, for example, such as web designers and those all, the people who are were working for those all fields and companies. So, what would be your advice to them? Should they start freelancing because they have that talent,
Mhm.
or they should wait for something and start again for corporate jobs, or they should try and build few qualities, and what qualities they should build if they want to start a freelancing career?
I've never had a job. So it's a very different phase of things for me. I've never had a job. I'm not in that, IT kind of field. So I'm not the right person to say anything in that matter. But even if we're talking just not about particular IT or something, even if you're talking about a job versus freelancing, both have their own challenges, both have their own struggles and their own appealing points. So I think, again, it has to do with what works for you. So I wouldn't recommend, like, you go in for freelancing because I'm a freelancer. But if you like doing it, you can give it a shot. Or, if you are waiting for a job and then you want to still see if you can make it work for you, you can try it for a few days, few weeks and months, and then see how that goes for you. For everything, I'm just going to say that you have to kind of figure out what's going to work best for you. That's important. Yeah.
Great, great, great. And coming to the main aim of this podcast of how we can grow as how one can grow as a freelancer. So, for example, if I'm starting my freelancing journey from, let's say, today, so what all steps would you suggest to a freelancer to slowly and steadily build their career as big as you?
First thing would be to kind of build your virtual presence, because that's important. Everything is virtual, and I keep saying this because you're online, and then if you're online, you're basically accessible globally. Anyone can
Correct,
find you anywhere, and you can speak with people across the hierarchy. So you can speak with your friends and colleagues, you can speak with professors, you can speak with CEOs and founders. So you have access to basically everyone, every single person across the world. So that's a very, very powerful thought, because just imagine, like, 7.5 billion people are just basically in your phone, kind of thing. So
yeah,
is to build that uh, virtual reach, because again, who you are online really, really matters a lot. So build on that, grow from there, and then kind of leverage that in various different ways, whatever suits you best. So it doesn't have to be LinkedIn. I mean, I prefer LinkedIn for my career, for me, and I recommend LinkedIn for any other freelancers. But it could be YouTube if you like that. It could be
correct,
Pinterest if you like that. Whatever it may be, build your presence on one platform and try to leverage that in as many ways as possible, either by getting clients or getting building an audience, building someone who is eager to, watch your videos and buy your ebook. Build that kind of
correct.
And from that, just I would say that just one thing, that focusing on that presence is so important, because everything else will kind of just start revolving around it automatically. So you'll just start getting work, and you'll start learning patience, because people will be weird sometimes, they will comment weird things, and you'll have to be patient. So you'll start learning everything with time. So yeah, just start with creating that presence.
Correct, 100%. And also one point which I feel I want to add is, uh, when if you are very new to the field, then without any shame, just start emailing or messaging to the persons whom you think, who those your target audience, basically. If you are a writer, then to people who can help you, or people who can uh, get something out of your product, because me, when I was starting this podcast, till now I have messaged to more than 1,000 people, and from them I am able to get 10 people by now. So from my experience, what I have learned is, even if you don't get any response from first 10 or first 20 people, just start messaging to whomever you can, or whomever you think can come in your radar, because it's always like, if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Right. That's true. I mean, asking and like giving it a shot, especially because you won't believe how many big accounts are actually willing to help you out and willing to be
Yes.
on your podcast or promote your account and things like that. So people are really kind, really friendly. So yeah, that would actually be a good tip. Give it a shot.
Correct, 100%. And what kind of fields does freelancing have? If one is thinking of trying freelancing, then what are the various kind of fields which are available right now, and which fields are very demanding at present?
If I'm in the content writing field, I would like to say that, content writing is in demand. But the idea is that,
Correct.
freelancing, we normally connected with things like content writing or graphic designing, web development, things like that. But the truth is, freelancing is basically everything. Like anybody and everybody in any profession you can think of can be a freelancer. Like if you can do the work by yourself, then you can be a freelancer. So I would say that even people like back at home in Bombay, the electrician coming in to fix everything, the plumber coming in, those are all freelancers. Those are all people you just have contact. You just call them up and say that, okay, this is, you don't deal with a company, you deal with one person. So
Yeah.
that they are
Correct.
freelancers.
100%.
They're just not called freelancers, but the idea is the same. So basically, if you have any skill that you can sell as one single person, do that. And if you have that skill and you think you can pull together a team and then work with them to sell that skill, do that as well. So you can be a freelancer in anything you're best at.
Correct. And I just want to point to one thing which you said in starting, that a freelancer can also grow into a corporate giant as well. So
Mhm.
if one thinks that, my work is getting very high and high, and I need to hire some people to help me out with my work pressure. So how can one start their journey from individual freelancing to building a corporate company?
It's a process. It's a very step by step thing. For me, it was a complete experiment. I've never built a team. I didn't know how to do that. And even now, like I have a small team, but even now when I hire, I keep changing my processes because it doesn't work the same way with everyone. So even it depends
Correct.
on what they do as well. If I'm working with a web developer, I have to look at something different. For a graphic designer, it's something else. For a content writer, it's something else. For somebody who's
Correct.
proofreading or editing or who's an intern, it's something else. So I don't even
Correct.
have like like a company. It's not like I can have like interview format. It's not just that, because for me it's not only about interview, it's more about the skills and the work ethics. So somebody could kind of skip or screw up the interview because of many reasons, but their work could be good. So I prefer
Correct.
to go for the work and for the work ethic, because the ethics matter to me a lot. You have to be timely, you have to be committed to what you're doing, you have to be clear about your communication with me and keep me in the loop all the time, all those things.
Yeah.
So these are the two things I look for. Again, find out what you need on your team, find out what skills or what expert,
correct,
what attributes matter to you and your company. And then accordingly you can have that two or three main things that you definitely base your hiring on. So that would be my tip,
correct.
from like, as a very vague tip from somebody who hired very few people in. Yeah.
Uh, and also in freelancing, building your own portfolio is very, very important, and many people find difficulty in building their portfolio. So, how can one build a very profound portfolio for their freelancing?
A portfolio is just something, basically it's just uh, your work. It's basically a proof that you can do whatever you're saying that you can do. So it
Correct,
doesn't have to be something you're doing for your clients, just something that you are working on for yourself. That's fine, completely fine. Use that
okay,
and keep building on it. The only thing is, it's not about having no portfolio or having a poor portfolio. It's about having an outdated portfolio. An outdated portfolio
okay,
is the worst thing you can have, because what that shows is, it shows that you have not done anything new. Like, you haven't worked on anything new. You cannot
correct,
see, like, your skills are old. So if I'm looking at an article from 1 year ago, I don't know if you still write the same way, if you've improved. And then I'm basing my decision on
correct,
that you were a year ago. So that matters. And third is consistency. If you can't maintain your own portfolio, if you can't maintain something that is going to help you get clients, is something that is going to help you make money and show a good presence, then how can you help me,
correct,
create good content and build my presence? So the idea is, again,
correct,
to focus on, it's all these hidden elements that anything signifies. So like, a poor portfolio is not about the quality. It's about how often you are working on keeping it updated, and keeping it fresh. That matters more.
correct. 100%. And also, major problem which comes in freelancing is how to write how to write a mail to client for explaining your product, because many people write their mail but they don't get any replies even though the work is good. But while reading their mail, client just thinks that they just ignore the mail many times. So how can one learn how to write that proper mail or proper framework of writing to a client?
So I would say there are two things here mainly. First is information overload, where you're just, throwing all the information possible, like, hi, this is how I found you. I am this person. I do this. I have worked in this, and I have been freelancing for this. You can check my work here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then, still giving your whole history. It's an information overload. It's unnecessary. So stop doing that. Make it very simple. The second thing is, like, you're putting that person in a decision making paradox. I don't really remember what it was called. There's a word for it, or rather two words for it. But I'm just gonna say it's a decision making paradox, because many times a person like a freelancer will say, I do this, but I don't know what I need you to do, right? So you have to kind of go through my profile. You have to go through all of whatever you do. If you're into website, you have to look at my website and tell me that these are the three things we need to work on right now, and then in the future we can
Correct,
do this. So then I can know, okay, this is what I have to go with. If you're telling me these are the five packages you can get, you can decide. I don't know what I need in the first place. If you didn't contact me, I didn't even know I need those things. So those are the things to work on. And realize that any person you're emailing, first of all, does not know you. So they'll be annoyed as soon as they see an email from you. They'll be like, Arey yaar, like, one more email, really? Why do I have that email? So that is the first thing that people think. Even I think that when I get an email, I'm like, unnecessarily, why am I getting an email? So in that sense, you have to kind of have respect for their time, and don't write an essay. Write like
correct.
3, 5 lines. 5 lines is like the best pitch you can have. 5 short lines,
Uh,
and keep it that way, and that's going to work the best.
So was my message which I sent you on LinkedIn was correct?
It was long. I would shorten it. See, again, it's basically about, it's good to talk about yourself, and then it's good to talk that, okay, I like your content and things like that. So, yes, like, I really thought that you really captured everything well. You talked about my content, you talked about yourself. That was the perfect way to do it. I would just shorten it. That's the only thing I would do. That's it. See, I
Sure, sure.
remember your message. So it was definitely, and I'm here. So it was a good message. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Uh, and many people also find difficulty in marketing themselves. Like when you said that we have to grow virtually, we have to grow in. For example, you mentioned LinkedIn and other platforms as well. So, how can one start growing in those platforms? For example, you have cracked LinkedIn game, and you are also growing very well in on Instagram as well. So if you can break any 5 points of LinkedIn game and the Instagram where you are growing very fastly, so can you just point out five basic things which one can do for growing their presence in virtual media?
Okay. So I'm going to tell this for both platforms, the same five things.
Yeah,
First is commitment, definitely. I had an Instagram account like 1 year ago, but I've just started it. And like, I think three
yeah,
months since I have actually committed to it and I'm seeing the growth. So if imagine, just imagine if this was 1 year ago. So that's first thing, commitment.
wow,
Second thing is long-term commitment. So it's good to do it for a few
wow,
months, but then if you do it for a year, 2 years, 3 years, that's when you see the growth. So long-term commitment.
correct,
Third would be to be authentic. So authentic meaning, be yourself and, just show the values that you stand for, show what matters to you, what you care about, talk about those things because the audience can really capture whether you care about something or not. Like they can see it on your face if you're really excited about it, if you're engrossed in it. So authenticity.
correct,
Um, Fourth would be consistency. I think that comes along with kind of commitment. So you have to be consistent. So it's good, like you're committed long term, you post once a week, but then once a week is because your audience doesn't remember you then. So post
correct,
frequently so that you are remembered by people. That's important. So the fourth one. And I would say the fifth one would be, let's just go back to the very first thing I said, patience. It's going to be patience because again,
correct.
you need a lot of patience
Wow.
and value. I'm going to add one more, sixth point, value.
Sure, sure,
You have to add value to people's lives, otherwise entertainment
correct,
is good as well depending on your niche, but most importantly if you can add something, happiness or joy or success to people's life, people are happy. So all those six things then, yeah.
great, great, great. Now coming to your book which you have uh, announced today, so please tell us more about your book as well.
So my ebook came out today. It's called #Anthology. And it's basically a collection of some of my best posts that I've put out on LinkedIn over the past 2 years almost now. So I just basically, picked out the best thing that I thought would help anybody who's reading the ebook the most. And the ebook has around six main sections. So there are different points covered like mindset and freelancing, LinkedIn, things like that. So all those points are covered, and it's basically something you can kind of it's a very easy read, it's a very light read, like it's LinkedIn posts. I just think it's a very beautiful book because we've worked hard on the designing and we've made it very simple and sleek. The cover is something that I'm very proud of because I made that myself and I'm really happy with how that.
Wow.
So yeah, that's something about my ebook if you want to get it. Yeah.
So from where we can get?
So the link is in my bio, on my page. It's on Gumroad. You can find me on Gumroad, Shreya Pattar. Anywhere you just type my name, I'll be the only Shreya Pattar. It's very likely. So you can go on Gumroad and you can find me. And this book is available. So it's available for a discounted price until 10th of August. So now it's a pre-order price, special pre-order price, and the price
Wow,
will go up on Monday. So get it ASAP. I would.
nice. So many congratulations for your first book and all the very best. I'm getting that feeling that it is gonna be one of best-selling books of
Thank you.
yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And going ahead in the freelancing journey, as you said about patience, but many people they start their commitment, they start working hard for 3 4 months, and then after that they just get demotivated, or that low phase, the first low phase that struck them, they tend to stop their journey from that point onwards, or they start putting or degrading their efforts into their freelancing. So what would be your advices to them who are facing that those situations, and how to overcome those situations?
Taking a break is actually pretty good, I would say that. Because many people
Correct.
they go so much into this whole thing of consistency, commitment, hustle, hard work, being busy all the time, and then they forget that being, taking a break is very natural. The only thing is that you have to be able to control the break you take. It's like, going to the gym. You go 4 times a week, 5 times a week, then you take a break on the weekend, and then on Monday you're like, really, again, I have to go to the those 2 days really break your flow. But if you go back on Monday and you're able to make it, then you know that okay, you're going to go through the whole week, and then again you repeat the process. And maybe in a few weeks you'll see that change in your body. You'll see those muscles, and you'll stare at yourself in the mirror, and then you'll be like, you know what, I'm going to go to the gym every day. That kind of thing. So it's something that you
Correct.
have to kind of train yourself into really falling in love with, and it comes automatically again when you see the results. Like now, when I see that, my posts are doing well, they are
Great.
actually getting me clients and everything. So I am kind of inclined to keep posting because I know that it's going to be good for me. So that also, it works, I guess, that way as well.
Great, great. And also one point which I think which I would like to add is even when you are taking break, just I mean try to purely disconnect yourself with the pressure which you had during those time, because sometimes even if I'm taking break, I always have that thing in mind that after this break I have to do this, after this break I have to do this. So in that pressure, the refreshment of break just vanishes, and we are spending those so-called breaks in pressure and tension of what to do next.
Correct. That happens with me a lot, honestly, because I take the weekends off from work, but then sometimes I get client emails on Friday night, and then I'm like, should I respond? Should I not respond? And then the whole weekend, I'm doing this back and forth, and then I try to pull it through Monday, and then I respond on Monday. So that's a battle I fight with myself. So yeah, that's a very good point. Like, get rid of it completely.
And also the client point you mentioned, I was going to come to that point as well, because dealing with client is also one of the very important aspect of freelancing, because many times, as you said, that when we are thinking of taking a break, just few moments before our break, something comes up and we are like, should I take it or not, or because many times extending it can create a loss, or immediately responding to it may create a loss. So how to analyze that situation, and how to in general deal with clients as well?
It depends on the situation when we talk about, whether to take something up in the last minute. Because if I look at it that way, I've taken up some tasks that were, paying the minimal, but because I had time and because I was okay with it, I was going to work overtime. Like I was going to sit and work at 10 in the night or something, but I was okay with it. So I took it up. And there were times when the clients were like, we'll pay you 3 or 4 times more also. You get this done. But I was done for the day. I'm just like, no, I cannot do anymore. I don't care the money only. It's also I cannot take up any more work at this very moment. So if you can do it tomorrow,
Correct.
fine. Otherwise, not today. So for me, it's not like it could be various factors for anyone. And if the time is a bit weird, then I would probably take it up if it pays me well. And then I would not care about how tired I am. It's very circumstantial, honestly. Depends. Um, and yeah, I mean, honestly, everything in freelancing is so unique because every person you're dealing with is a different kind of person. And again, I would
Correct.
comes with practice, because with practice you
Wow.
just get that intuition, and you can never be wrong with that intuition. Like
Wow.
99.9% times, if my brain said don't take this, like if my brain or gut, whatever your intuition comes from, if that said don't take this up and I have not taken it up, I have actually felt better. Even if that was a lot of money, even if that was a big client, but I had that mental peace that okay, I have followed my gut and I have not put myself in pressure unnecessarily. So I'm fine with that.
Wow.
So I would recommend, like, money is fine, work is fine, everything's fine, but if you have that luxury to kind of, prioritize your mental health and your peace and your well-being over everything else, then do that, go for that. And if you don't have that luxury yet, work towards getting that luxury, because that luxury is just amazing. So work towards that so that you don't have to think of things like money or something else. So yeah, if you want to learn, then kind of build towards that.
Great, great. And another big aspect comes when we start freelancing is how much money to put on our product, because many times we overprice our product, many times we underprice our product, and we just don't know that the product which I'm providing, how much it costs me, and how much it should be valued to fit perfect in market to give me good profits and to get my work done in correct time. So how can one think on that aspect?
For freelancing, I would call it services rather than a product. Because when we say product, it's something
Okay.
physical, whereas services is something basically that you provide as an individual in terms of your skills. So I would say, like most services, they do not really require a lot of investment. There's no real expense into creating something. So I have a laptop, I have Wi-Fi, I pay my rent, and that's kind of the main thing that I have to focus on in terms of expense. For a designer or developer, it could be those applications they use, it could be Adobe,
Yeah.
it could be anything that they work with. That's their expense. So when it comes to freelancing, we have that kind of a privilege that a service can be priced in any kind of zone. You could charge, I could sell you something for say 1,000 rupees now, and tomorrow I could go out and sell that exact same thing to someone else for $1,000. So the idea is,
Wow.
how you market it. The idea is whether you are in the position to kind of demand that much, whether you're in the position that your service is worth demanding that much. That matters. So the whole point is that in freelancing, there's no perfect price. If you have that command, when
Yeah.
you say that I'm going to charge $1,000 for this, and if somebody's willing to pay you, then you're doing good. Then you just know that. And if not, then you kind
Uh-huh.
of work towards that, and you kind of work towards it, and you make it possible, and then you go from 1,000 to 1,000, whatever you want to go in for. So there's no perfect price. Again, experiment and see what works best for you.
Beautiful, beautiful. And one last thing which I want to ask, and I think that is right now it is like a huge potential which I think India carries, because in terms of the engine, the IT, I'm just saying it from whatever I have observed, is that in India more and more developers and coding people are coming out of colleges and coming and going to internships and all. So I think India does carry a huge amount of freelancers, if because if one wants to form an enterprise, they need some capital. But if one just start freelancing, because freelancing, the investment, as you said, required is very, very less. So India having a big potential of freelancers, what do you think that after 5 or 10 years, where will India stand in terms of the number of freelancers, and also in terms of the quality which India is going to provide in terms of service?
That's a very broad question, I would say. I do know that definitely freelancing is increasing, and India, I think, has around 20 to 25 million freelancers in the past 10.
Wow.
So it's going to increase naturally because it's becoming a different part of even if you're not a full-time freelancer, it's something you can do to get extra income if your job allows that.
Yeah.
It's something that people would do because they are moving remote now, so it may be more preferable. So yeah, it would increase. In terms of quality, I'm not really sure, because there are so many things coming up right now in terms of tools that can basically replace freelancers. So I don't know, maybe in 10, 15 years,
Okay.
instead of freelancers, we'll have something completely different that would, have more impact and more value and be more beneficial for individuals. So maybe, I mean, I'm looking forward to something like that instead of, just continuing with this whole simple freelancer thing. So I'm not sure where it goes, but I just hope it goes to a good place, and that everyone's, especially that everyone has the courage to charge worth their value and get paid for it. So that would be a very good thing.
Beautiful, beautiful. And where do you see yourself in next 5, 10 years?
See, this is a question I never ever know what to. Always like this is usually the last question in every interview, and is all of my life it's been a series of events by chance, things that worked out, meeting the CEO of LinkedIn and then suddenly starting liking LinkedIn and liking working on LinkedIn and then getting clients from a viral post. Or even before that, I found my college in an Ireland education fair by chance. I was not even supposed to be in Ireland, but I found it by chance, and then things happened here. And then I found LinkedIn, then I found clients, then I found work, and then I'm doing this thing. I didn't think I would be here. So I guess I'm just taking everything as it comes by and then, see how where that takes me. Because I didn't even know I was going to release an ebook so soon. So I didn't know that. So we'll find out, I guess. Yeah.
Great, great, great. And from whatever you have observed on my Instagram account and LinkedIn account, what would be your three advice for me on how can I personally grow my social media presence?
So I think I've seen more of your Instagram because we have spoken on Instagram, so I can tell you for
Yeah,
that. Um,
sure.
Good covers for your video. That would be good because when they're seen on the feed, anybody would like to see good covers that instantly tell what they can get if they click on that. That would be super helpful. Um, I think a profile picture update would be good where you are seen, like your face is seen because people really like seeing faces. People like it makes your profile more trustworthy. And can I say that, just stick to one profile maybe? Because I know you have profiles, so maybe I would just say stick to one profile. Yeah, so that's like there's not
Sure.
really much tips I can give you. You're doing great. I've seen a lot of your podcasts and it's pretty interesting. Like
Thank you.
this one was very interesting. You had some really good questions and everyone is even commenting that, these are really good questions. So yes, these are definitely good questions. So you're a good host. So keep doing what you're doing with your podcast. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And what would be, I say, uh, what would be next book if you are gonna write the next book of yours, and what would be up what would be it about?
I'm working on like two or three concepts right now. So for the ebook. So I'll let you know whichever one I decide to go with. I think
Sure, sure,
all three will come
100%.
out eventually, but I'll let you know which one first. Yeah.
Sure, sure. So how was this podcast?
Oh, I told you it was really fun. I mean, I saw a lot of comments that people were enjoying. Like somebody has written that there's too much information. So I'm glad that there's too much information. That's how a podcast or a live should be. So I'm glad about that. Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining in and uh, spreading your knowledge and wisdom on freelancers and helping them, giving them a good content to grow and prosper.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Jay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.